Help me draw. I'm going to turn off the air conditioner. I must apologize. My absence for the past several months has been related to work and also gardening primarily. But I mean, May was the last time I did a live stream, I think. Wow. Gemma's going to help me today do a little cartoon doodle, an idea I've had in my head since we've been watching World Cup soccer. Gemma, by the way, is a huge soccer fan. She loves watching the ball. I'm going to turn off the air conditioner. The better to hear rambling, and I'm going to turn on my time-lapse iPad. So the idea behind this particular doodle that Gemma's going to help me construct on this really nasty piece of paper that's got cat gravy and cat hairs and paw prints and drool and claw marks. Can we get a close up of this? Look at this. Look at all the claw marks on this paper. I don't know if you can see that in detail, but anyway, oh, my ghost is back. I have I moved into a house where two people died in this house in the 10 years prior to my moving in. And I have this one light that will turn on and off whenever it feels like it. And I have since found out that a young woman drowned while living in this house. And I'm thinking maybe her spirit has lingered and that she used to work from home and that my drawing board is kind of set up in the spot where she used to work. Because right now it's dimming and brightening of its own accord and I'm not touching anything. Anyway, we can live at peace with the spirit realm. I sure hope so. Just keep those demons away, right? Gemma, what are you thinking about, girl? I've had this idea for this World Cup soccer cartoon doodle after watching a few matches, and I'm not really rooting for any specific team. I just like to see good competition, and there have been some amazing matches thus far with some shockers. Um, but the idea hit me, these players, I mean, they're going to end up just like NFL players, American football players, where they're going to have dementia and Alzheimer's in their old age from these head-on collisions when they're trying to head the ball. But I grew up in the 70s and 80s, and Mad Magazine may have already done a cartoon like the one I have in mind. I just don't know. I haven't had time to research it. But it's basically a simple concept of just the two players missing the ball but colliding heads, and it's pretty gory and gruesome. So I guess we start with the ball, right, Gemma? We have a ball that's being missed. Big ball being missed, right, Gemma? Right, Gemma? Yeah. And I hope I can remember the actual the soccer balls have these very definitive I think I got it. Yeah, I think I got it. We got this, Gemma. We got this. Right? Like hexagonal shaped hexagons. Is that right? The old school soccer balls, now they're in all kinds of amazing colors and flavors that didn't previously exist when I was growing up. But you're going to just lay right on that spot where I was trying to put some lines, aren't you? Because you're a little sabotage. You don't, yes, talking to you, Gemma. You know I'm talking to you. Talking to this girl all the time. She's one of my rescue cats that wouldn't have survived if I hadn't done the right thing and brought her home. She had been bitten twice by a boar cat. Boar cats are aggressive male cats that have not been neutered. And the one neighborhood where I was doing a lot of TNR trapping and neutering and releasing, they it was just this was back in 2018 when Gemma was born. She lived on the street for 2 years, but then when 2020 hit and she disappeared, I went on a mad search for her because she used to show up every night when I fed a bunch of ferals. And when she disappeared, I was fretting because I knew what a lover girl she was, and that it was not normal for her to just disappear like that, right, Gemma? Well, anyway, she got bitten by this badass cat who I named Logger the Second because I thought he was the original Logger until I had it confirmed that he was actually he was a mimic. He was a saboteur. He wasn't the real Logger. And Logger the Second, well, I'll just shade the ones that I know are going to be colored. I think it's like this, right? Logger the Second bit her on the butt. She must have been running away from him, whether they were two separate instances or one instance where she got bit twice in the same attempt to flee from him. I don't know. But I do know that she was bitten twice, once on her tail. She almost lost her tail due to infection, and once on her butt. She had a really nasty abscess on her butt. And I had to crawl under a house to once I was told by this lady that owned this house that she was still alive and living under her house. Um, Once again, I've gone too big. This is a problem. Always going too big, no matter what. I always run out of space. I don't care. Don't care how much room I have. I could have a piece of paper the size of an actual soccer stadium, and it wouldn't matter. I would still find a way to run out of space. I don't know how many soccer players have dentures, but I guess this is what I'm trying to remember. Cartooning is, this is not a political statement. This is not, I'm not doing this with any sensitivity to Me Too movements or we, us, them movements or, kiss my frickin' ass movements or anything like that. It's just an effort, personal effort to make myself laugh and anybody else that has a sick sense of humor along with me. Um, that's it. It's that simple. Let's not read too much into things. But you know, I did love Mad Magazine, but I never thought that they like pushed the envelope too far. It was always kind of like a PC level of inappropriate humor. I don't know if that's in any way an oxymoron. But I always thought, yeah, their stuff was really kind of funny, but I always thought they could have been a little more not adversarial, that's the wrong word, a little more aggressive with their commentary on the human condition, uh, and how ridiculous and idiotic a species humans are. But this is not turning out anything like I wanted it to, as usual. My idea The idea I have in my head is like way better always, without exception, than my feeble efforts to actually draw something. So, knowing this, I guess I should never be too greatly disappointed in whatever lame ass thing I try to create. Maybe this guy's bald and his hair is just kind of, I don't know. Mhm. This is a tongue being bitten. How do you show that? I guess you have to draw like a sharp line there with the teeth sinking into it and maybe a little blood or something on it, but haven't gotten that far yet. Yeah, it's nothing like what I wanted it to be. All right, so this is I mean, look, I'm out of practice drawing here, but I'm just gonna wing this one, like as far as the inks and whatnot. Where's Gemma? Come on, Gemma. You messing up. You're not messing me up. Used to do a lot of really kind of gross humor cartoons when I was in high school. Just more or less to amuse Michael Murray. Michael Murray was a classmate, and he was really easy to make laugh. So I would pander to my built-in audience of one. I love Michael Murray too. He was great. He always encouraged me to keep doing this stupid stuff. But a lot of the gross stuff that I did, I actually back when Amazon books first became a thing, or Kindle books first became a thing, I did put some Kindle books out there that were all based on, not based on, they were the actual high quality scans of these cartoon doodles that I had done back in high school. And maybe if I think of it, I'll put the link somewhere down in the. Yeah, I'll have to look really closely tonight. Uh, the 3 p.m. game today, Spain and Portugal. That's going to be a great game. And then later the USA game. The controversial, always controversial. Leave it to the United States to make everything controversial. Ugh, if only we could just live in a world without controversy. Wouldn't that be nice? Is that Gemma sneaking up on me? No, that's Munchkin. Munch, what's up, girl? I see the munch. Come on, Munch, come on, visit. Munch, 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 munch. Come on, girl. Loose lips sink ships. I don't know. You just make stuff up after a while when you're just kind of like going with the flow, going with the flowing, flowing with the going. The whole point of drawing is just to kind of have fun with lines and tools. Although I will say, some of those cave paintings and cave drawings, we don't see like we don't see like any screw ups. Like it looks like they went right to their masterpiece, you know? I mean, we don't see like all these like failed efforts and whatnot. And most of what I do are failed efforts. But I mean, did they do them in different caves and then they were like, "Oh, this shit sucks," and they buried the caves forever so that nobody would find them or something? I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know. This is probably one of the worst drawings I've done in a while, but that's okay. The important thing is I'm sitting down here at the board. I'm taking time after a couple months of a break, and it feels weird and it doesn't feel right. Gemma, where are you? You should be here helping me, girl. Munchkin, are you going to come help me? I remember the one of the first times when I was like, I must have been in like third or fourth grade, sitting at a drawing board. My dad jerry rigged the board set up for me in the house where I grew up. The first house that I remember, I should say, remember well. We lived in an apartment briefly when I was very young, but I remember this jerry rigged board set up I loved. And I'd sit down there. He was an architect, so I would like sit down there and draw while he was drawing. He'd be pushing a pencil, doing serious drafting work, and I'd be doing my cartoon doodles and my comic book pages. And it was the first time I ever did research. I wanted to get it right, and I had to draw an Asian person. I didn't realize that maybe the person I'm drawing right now is Asian, which is kind of weird because in the World Cup right now, who's left among Asian teams? Is Korea or South Korea still in it? I don't think so. Maybe they are. Uh, I'm ignorant apparently if they are in it, and I just lost sight. But I don't have the ability to watch all the games, just the ones that are on over the air. I've got this antenna in my attic that picks up various stations. I got like 30 to 40 channels on any given night. And that's how I've been watching my sporting events for the past 20 years, really. Over the air. And it kind of pisses me off because they make it so hard. They have like, the NFL and Major League Baseball. They make it so hard just to like be a fan of their sports when they want you to do these subscriptions to other services like Seriously, I can't just watch like in the old days a sporting event on TV. You've got to try to rape us for more money. It's just ridiculous. So that like leaves a really bad taste in a person's mouth, especially when you're on a serious third world country budget. I think we're all third world countries at this point. If you're not a billionaire, you are literally living in a third world country. So we're on the same team because I somehow doubt that any billionaires are watching this channel. So let's just remember to stick together when the zombie apocalypse happens. We're all just trying to survive. Blah, 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 blah. So this guy's losing his teeth. This guy's eyes are popping out. Um, Sometimes you just gotta based on the algorithms of the past. Yes, my own personal drawing history boiled down into a nutshell. This guy's like shoulders are crunched up. And yes, we've lost many trains of thought since first beginning this doodle. And if I ever get back to the original trains of thoughts after starting a topic, it is just a fluke, minor miracle, inconsequential to the overall blathering. Love that word, blathering. Yeah. I think a drawing like this, because the actual line art is kind of so weak or less, it's I just kind of went for it. I just this is what I do. Um, this is an instance where perhaps color could salvage what is turning into a pretty lame ass quickie. Munchkin, where are you, girl? I want to see my munch. Munch, munch. She's up there. She's on the bridge. I have a bunch of fun stuff for cats in this house. And I built these bridges that kind of go around the perimeter of the room. Since cats are very fond of high places, it makes them feel safe and secure. Just a primal instinct kind of a thing, in case a dog happens to wander into my house. I love dogs, but I don't think the cats would be too happy about that. Uh, oh, you know what I have? Big, big. Woo! Getting a cheap buzz now, kids. Oh, there goes the light. There it goes. Oh, there it goes again. Just does what it wants. Does what it wants. I've noticed a lot of these soccer players, you can tell by their training, they've been, so well trained not to use their arms or their hands that a bunch of them kind of like run around with their hands clasped behind their back, which is pretty impressive. Like they're like totally committed to not touching the ball. So here we have an instance where this player here on the right has his shoulders squunched up. Well, look who came to visit. Iota. I knew somebody'd show up once Gemma split. Oh, there she goes. Coyote's got one thing on her mind though, and that's gravy. There's a bowl with gravy sitting above me to my left. But yeah, I wonder how many years you have to play the sport to get to the point where like you're running around with your hands behind your back, clasped in such acute awareness. But that's really smart because the last thing you want to do is screw your team over accidentally by touching the ball, right? I'm trying this vertical live stream today in in hopes that it can gather a couple more subscribers just because YouTube's current algorithm is for short format, but also for vertical format. And the time lapse that I'm doing of this cartoon will be a short, less than 3 minute, but it'll probably be horizontal. And I'll add some music to it, like a song about heads colliding or something. Um, because we have the technology and it might be fun to write a song about heads colliding. This isn't nearly as gory as I wanted to do it. This is a very bland PC version. My original concept was going to be more cataclysmic than this. Oops, I messed up. Ah, shucks. Well, you know what they say. If you mess up, just ink it all black. That's a really cheap, lazy cartoonist way to solve an oopsie instead of restarting. But I wonder if you had a deadline, it's justifiable. And a lot of the old school cartoonists were getting paid peanuts, so their attitude at the end of the day was probably just, give me my dang paycheck and you get what you get. But then the guys, or oh geez, I'm a chauvinist. The cartoonist, male and female, who we remember the best are the ones who love their craft so much that it was never about the paycheck anyway. It was about satisfying their self and also creating something worthy. Worthy of remembering, worthy of an actual laugh instead of just a minor chuckle. Woohoo! Who's crying out there? Is that Freya? I should have used the brush. I guess I should have used the brush. Woohoo! What a circle, kids. Okay, like it. I do enjoy that squeaky sound. It's not like that cringeworthy chalkboard sound. It's more like a, I don't know. I don't know. I like it. Along with the smell, of course, the cheap contact buzz from the alcohol. I bet you if you had somebody that was a hardcore alcoholic and you put them in a rubber room and all they had access to were Sharpies, they'd figure out some way to extract the alcohol from these wondrous squeak, squeak, squeaky markers. Yeah, I think I'll do a redo of this and it'll be, I won't start so big. um, it'll be more like a pullback shot where we see more of the shoulders and the arms of the football players. And along with that, get into a little more detail with some pointillism. I could still do some pointillism on the tongue, right? Yeah, let's do that. So color would certainly, by adding like blood red to some of these droplets, or blue, whatever the color saliva would be, purplish blue, maybe some greenish booger snots flying out. Because what would a massive comical, not so funny, but somehow humorous head collision be? Don't say that 10 times fast. It would make your actual head explode, I think. But what would it be without boogers, saliva, and blood? Yep, that's that's the crowd I'm going for here. If you're a member of the booger snot, blood, saliva crowd, I am here for you. 100%. Oh, we need to do a shoulder cross, shoulder back. Yeah, okay. It gives it a little bit of perspective, puts things in perspective. Also, there's a trick if you're running low on your ink, put the cap on, pull it off, put the cap on, pull it off, put the cap on, pull it off, and then voila, like magic, more ink has rushed to the head of your Sharpie, or I should say, chisel tip. Munchkin, aren't you gonna come say hi? Munch, munch. Where's Gemma? I can't believe Gemma bailed on me. Gemma's usually the one that's like right here the whole time, front and center. Gemma, Gemma. No idea where she went. Uh-oh. Ambulance. I don't think my audio will be able to pick that up, but I live right near the hospital, so maybe it will pick it up. Oh no, that's the wrong flavor. I needed this one here. This is the right flavor. Right here. Oh, you know what I also need is what I do with that. There we go. Mustn't get too obsessive compulsive over. Yeah, I used to do this kind of stuff all the time, these gross out pictures. And like I said, Mike Murray was my number one fan, this high school friend of mine. But I will consider maybe doing a recreation of this, smaller, pull back the camera angle. Um, you know what I really need? Don't leave home without it. You gotta have a knife that matches the color of your carpenter's pencil. That's the rules. I don't make the rules, I just follow them. Let it be known, tax-paying, law-abiding citizen, if I end up in jail, it's because our corrupt system, big brother police state, has found a way to criminalize everybody. Yup, yup, sure have. Know your rights. All three of them. You have the right not to be killed, provided, of course, it wasn't done by a policeman or aristocrat. Know your rights. You have the right to food money. As long as you don't mind a little investigation, humiliation. These are your rights. Know your rights. Right, Gemma? Woo-hoo. You came back. I'm worried about you. I was worried about this girl. Get some oil, oily on this pencil. Oily on this pencil. Uh, 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 uh. This is the song that doesn't end. I'm just messing with Mandela effect people. We all know the truth. This is the song that never ends. But thanks to CERN, yep, there goes the light. That's the ghost. She came back. She said, you know what? I was just on a 15-minute break. Right? Gemma, it happens all the time. Ever since you've lived here, this light's been coming on and off, on and off, on its own, by itself. I think the cats are at peace with the spirits that live here. At least two for sure, maybe more. Previously, I've lived very close to cemeteries most of my existence, and I've often wondered how that's impacted my dream life, because I've always had really weird dreams. So it only stands to reason that perhaps close proximity to the rotting, decaying biological entities formerly known as people before they died, maybe that actually their molecules during the process of decomposition float around in the ethers. And of course, our dreamscape life is occurring among the ethers. So, therefore, we are commingling with the now freed molecules of former life forms at all times. And being so close to a cemetery, of course, means that there's a higher concentration of interaction with these molecules from those who previously existed. So I guess this player is Irish. I don't know why. I just felt like grabbing that, um, giving him red hair. And my pencil, you know what? I've got another pencil here, but my yellow knife is up in the attic studio, so I'm not going to sharpen this one. Well, look who's coming over. Munchkin, I see you jumping it up. You can definitely add some more expression with shades of gray and color, of course. I don't think I would attempt to color this one now just because by adding the pencil, it's really hard to get separation when you're talking about a scanning these cartoons at a certain resolution. It's got to be a high enough resolution that you can then create a really graphic version. And sometimes I will do a straight to black and white scan, but a lot of times I do scan in gray or in full color to get all of those the details that are necessary if you're looking for quality reproduction. But I do have compression software now too. So I had to wait many years before I could create the best version of a book that pertained to all my dream drawings. I spent 6 years of my life recording my dreams every night and drawing my favorite images from those experiences on the dreamscape. And so, unfortunately, when Kindle first came out and was like really popular, I couldn't do a version of the book I wanted to do without a serious loss of quality of the and by the way, the all the dream drawings that I did, I would spend hours, like hours crafting each image. So they weren't crap like this. Like I'm talking like really nice, went all in on that experience of trying to I wanted to see for myself with my own eyes these dreams that I'd had and also share with the world and say, hey, look, this is a real place. These, it, a lot of people are under the impression that dreams are purely subjective, but to me, it's not. It's not an exclusively subjective realm. We're definitely hobnobbing and bumping heads with other disembodied entities and other humans, like out of body experience type stuff. And yeah, so that's I want to say that's an opinion, but in my own head, I don't need to prove to anybody else what I know to be beyond a reasonable doubt. So yeah, these things that happen, you could say, yeah, they're just in your own head. Well, to an extent, that's true. But then other dreams, like dreams where you're time traveling or you're actually are having an out of body experience. Other dreams, also dreams where you're having a story unfold that your actual ego is not actually a part of it. Those are my favorite kinds because you're actually just like witnessing. It's like watching a movie. Um, Dreams like that fascinate me in particular. But so anyway, then along came Apple Books that upped their ante for in order to compete with the Kindle and what Amazon was producing. They granted more gigabytes per upload, and that was a start. I was like, oh, okay. Now you can upload a book that's like 3 gigabytes or something. I think it's actually higher than that now. But when that finally happened, I started looking into rescanning all my dream drawings. And during that process, I discovered this software called Optimage, like optimal, optimized image, Optimage, one word. And I love it because it'll take a really huge scan, like where you're scanning something 12,000 DPI. And for any nerds out there listening, you know that's huge. That's like you could blow it up the size of a billboard when you scan something at 12,000 DPI. So that's the kind of resolution I'm talking about. But then you compress it with this Optimage software, and it compresses down to like less than one megabyte, which is ridiculous, with hardly any loss of quality. That's the impressive part. So once I discovered that software, I was like, all right, that's it. So now I finally have my book is live on Apple Books. It's called Entiodes from the Sandman. Entiodes from the Sandman. Entiodes spelled Entiodes. And we are the Sandman, by the way. Each and every one of us. Okay, so at a certain point, you just got to call it quits and say, okay, this is all I can do for this concept or this particular image. And then what? I wish maybe I should do a wash for the background. You know what? Do I got any brushes handy? Hello, brushes. I got one ratty ass cat hair corrupted brush here. What do I got? What do I got? What do I got? Whoa. What do I got? I'll tell you what I got, my friends. I've got coffee in a cup, coffee in a cup, coffee in a cup for the FIFA World Cup. Coffee in a cup, but please don't interrupt. Coffee in a cup, if you interrupt, I'm gonna kick you in the butt, in the butt, in the butt. Coffee in the cup. Sing along if you've figured out the words. Hey, Gemma. Gemma's here. She said, I'll sing along. I'm going to sing with this guy. He's my guy. You talking to me? Gemma, go ahead. Talk it out. Come on. Talk it out. That's my girl. You little sticker, you. Look at her give kisses, too. Oh, boy. I'm the luckiest guy. Getting kisses. Getting kisses from my rough and tumble street cat, Gemma. Now that she's survived living on the street for over 2 years, 2.5 years anyway. Best thing that ever happened to you, Gemma, was getting bit on the butt, wasn't it? Hmm? I would have left you out there. You would have froze just like your brothers and sisters. There were 9 cats that I was taking care of that lived in this little jungle. And of the 9, only 3 are still alive. Well, 2 for sure. Wolfie and Gemma live with me. I adopted Wolfie and Gemma. And the mama cat still out there. I seen her not too long ago. I saw her back in like November. So it's been 7 or 8 months. She's like a neighborhood cat. She's made friends with multiple humans. God bless her. But the other siblings and the papa cat, they all perished. They all had horrible fates. Don't want to talk about it, but it kind of justifies it makes me feel better knowing that I did the right thing by actually adopting Gemma. Because my initial plan was just to give her a chance to recover from her abscess and her surgery and her bite wounds. But once she was in my house for a couple weeks, she got along with the other cats and she was super grateful. Every night she'd tell me how grateful she was. to be off the streets. And so I just said, all right, well, you got a home now, kid. Forever, forever home until something happens to me or something happens to you. And Wolfie was from the second litter from the mama cat. Same mama, different daddy. And Wolfie I adopted before Jemma because he was going to get run over. He was taking chances and risks just like his older brothers. And this particular little jungle crop of woods where these cats were all living, right next to a horrible location, a highway, in the rough part of town, kind of like, I guess they call it lower income housing, but it's kind of like the projects. And anyway, along with Mack trucks and evil people, evil humans that are cat haters, and pit bulls and raccoons and an occasional coyote that infiltrates the neighborhood. Uh, Wolfie had warmed up to me and was very people friendly. And I could tell that he wanted to get off the streets. He was a bit of a scaredy cat, but he was bold enough to sometimes try to cross the highway. And I found evidence of that when one day I went to feed all my feral friends and he was across the highway and I had to go get him. And what I discovered post facto was that I think the reason why a lot of the male cats were crossing the highway is there were basketball courts across the highway, and the kids that shot hoops would show up with buckets of Kentucky Fried Chicken, and then they'd like throw parts that they didn't eat, the bones and the skin and um, whatever gristle, anything they didn't eat from their Kentucky Fried Chickens, they'd throw it along the fence. But there was like a broken part of the fence. The cats would like compress and sneak through the fence to get chicken parts. And pretty sure that's why the Papa Cat got run over and why Big Paws got run over, who was a black cat from the first litter. But Wolfie was from the second litter. And by the time he was old enough to start getting bold, the Papa and his big brother had already been killed. And I was just like, man, it's just heartbreaking. I didn't want to be witness to that again. And I already had, gosh, how many cats are buried in the backyard of the places that I've rented over the years? The house I live in now, I've been in since 2019, and I need to really draw like a treasure map at some point, where all the bodies are buried in case somebody ever wants to dig a trench to run a power feeder to a outdoor greenhouse or shed or something. Um, so yeah, you can see that the coffee coloration is definitely giving a little bit of separation, which is what you need. And like I said earlier in this live stream, this is a lazy man's way of covering up a crap drawing. You just keep working on it until you've disguised some of the inherent faults that were a part of it from the get-go. So, you know, and I'm glad that I brewed an extra strong pot of coffee though. Gemma, where'd you go, girl? Gemma, Gemma, Gemma. I bet you I can get her over here though. Jemma, where are you, girl? Who's gonna come sit with me while I doodle some stuff? Jemma, my little saboteur. Yeah, I wanted this to have more of that Basil Wolverton vibe. Basil Wolverton was a great, really unique style of cartoonist comic book illustrator from the 1940s, 50s, and even into the 60s. Um, but it didn't end up being that because I didn't use brush and ink. I should have busted out my ink. But by then it was too late because the drawing was already way off course, faulty from the very beginning. My pencils were just not there, but okay, Joe. I don't have a hair dryer at this station. I need to get a hair dryer next time I go to Salvation Army or Goodwill. Um, I've got a couple hair dryers in the attic studio. That would speed up the process because I kind of want to darken down here a little bit more. Let me see. I've got some other coffee here. Don't go anywhere in life without at least two coffee cups. So I have two coffee cups. I have Le Chat Kitty Gatto, little mouse with a big ball of yarn, and this cat that looks like it's actually made from the yarn. And then I've got this huge stainless steel Hamilton Beach bestial cup of coffee. Um, Coffee, the drink of billionaires. That's what they're going to call it in about 5 or 10 years, when coffee is no longer affordable for the common plebeian slave class worker peons like myself. Only billionaires will have coffee. For the rest of us, it'll be ground up cockroaches with whatever residue is left over from the coffee beans ground by the billionaires. Although most billionaires probably they've got butlers and maids to actually crush up the coffee beans between their toenails and other really kind of what's the phrase I'm looking for, inappropriate, and they're doing things that if the rest of us knew, we would be like, damn. Not unlike the way wine is made, squishing the grapes under your toes. Um, but some people do have butt teeth, and maybe that's how they're grinding up the coffee beans for billionaires because they're into that kinky shit, right? Eating babies and whatever. Who knows if any of it's true? I just know that the idea alone is disturbing. But those of us who have been left nothing, it stands to reason that we would be conspiratorial and distrusting, and that our minds would wander to these really dark places because we need in some way to justify what we feel are the things that have gone against us personally in this existence. Because it's hard, and it's hard, and it's hard, and it's hard. It's hard rains are gonna fall. What do you think, my blue-eyed son? Where have you been, my darling young one? Okay. I think I'm at the point where it needs to stop. The drawing needs to stop. No longer contributing anything positive. And some of these details are unnecessary. He says while he continues to add, all right, that's it. For real this time. Enough's enough. That's enough torturing of a potential audience for one session. But I'll be back. Just like a bad penny, I'll turn up. Pennies have been outlawed, so there's comfort in that. Maybe there'll be less bad pennies turning up now that they've been outlawed. I just don't know. I don't know. So yeah, the old header gone wrong, where two FIFA World Cup opposing players collide. Splodat! 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 No matter how many times you say it, it's still just Splodat! Splodat! Oh, the drawing's all wet. I'm all wet. Uh, yeah, I don't know if you can see that from a distance. From a distance. But yeah, colorless. I don't think it would even save it. It's just didn't turn out the way I wanted it to. But again, nothing ever does. So it was a fun little piece to do, though. I think it took about an hour and 7 minutes. I'm guessing. I haven't stopped the live stream yet. Let's do that though. Okay, so we'll take a look. Take a look. That's mo better. Mo better. Mo better. Mo better. Mo better. Mo better. Yeah. Um. What I don't like about it is that this character's head goes completely off the page. That creates tension though, because it's so um it's so asymmetrical. Like um asymmetrical is kind of my thing though. I do like when drawings are not. I do like when tension is created, but this was an unintentional tension. Unintentional tension. Unintentional. Yeah, man. Um, and again, to redo this at a different size, I would pull back the camera view and we'd see more of the shoulders and the arms of the two colliding players. And then that would give me a chance to, you know, correct some of the errors of this one. But the gist of the teeth flying out and the eyeballs popping is kind of where I was, and the teeth digging into the tongue. Like this guy is definitely having a bad day. Um, More so than this guy. This guy, I mean, they're both gonna need a concussion protocol regardless. Um, so yeah, it looks like it's turning into like a 70-minute gig. So that's like an hour and 10 minutes. So by the time we take a look at some of these sleeping beauties, right, Munch? Look at you draping off the edge. What are you, a wild child or something? Munchkin? Would you talk it up? Can I get a kiss? Munch. Here she comes. See the bridge, it goes over the drawing board. So they basically they'll like jump on the chair and then jump up onto the magazine stand and then jump up here. You can see Munch coming through. Come on, girl. Come on in. Come on in. Here she comes. That's the box. Can I get a kiss? Munch. Can I get a kiss? Can I get a kiss? No, she's being shy. Are you being shy? Hey, are you being shy? Can I get a kiss? Can I get a kiss? Can I get a kiss, Munch? Please? Please. Can I get a kiss? Can I get a kiss? Look at you flirt. You're such a flirt. I wish your mama could see you now. She's another rescue from the streets. And then we've got Sunny, who's probably not going to survive the summer. He's in kidney failure. And Tigger, my best bud, you are Tigger. Used to be Tiger Monk in a previous life. He was killed by a pit bull when he was a girl cat, and then he was reborn. It's a long story. I'll tell it in a documentary that I'm working on slowly, ever so slowly. Hours and hours, thousands of hours of footage, me and my friends. Anyway, I hope everybody's having a good time, enjoying the World Cup, and their summers are not overly hot and sweaty like the one I'm experiencing in North Carolina. But we'll do another drawing soon. Now that I've gotten all my chores out of the way for the garden, I had to create some brand new garden boxes this season, and it's been an uphill battle, and I'm losing right now to the vine boring pests in my squash and zucchini plants. But we've been picking a few here and there. There's Freya. Freya, you talking it up? Smaller is not necessarily bad. They're more flavorful when they're smaller, and I got a couple more in the fridge here. Right, right. Talking it up, Freya. Good girl. You want to go outside, but it's blazing. It's blazing. It's blazing. Freya, it's too hot out there. Okay. And then we've got the wolf pack in here. Hey, what are you up to? You're not going out there. You're not going in there. Hey. Oh, where's the wolf pack? Well, there's Rudy. There's Mama Shadow. Hey, yo. And oh, Rudy. Rudy, Rudy. Where's those other kids? They must be keeping cool under the bed. Right. There she goes. All right, then. Live stream out.